I get it. You've been scrolling through endless videos of glass art, dreaming of that moment when you pull a molten, rainbow-filled pane out of a kiln and watch it settle into a perfect fused piece. But the moment you start thinking about buying a kiln, the doubts creep in. Do I have enough space? Will it actually heat evenly? Is this the right size for a weekend hobbyist versus someone who wants to turn this into a side hustle? I've been there, and before you drop a few $100s on something that ends up gathering dust, I want to walk you through the Delphi Glass Studio in a box kit and see if it really matches the hype. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, this isn't just a kiln on its own, it's a whole starter package. You get the fusing kiln, a good chunk of 90 COE, coefficient of expansion glass, and a handful of the supplies you'd otherwise have to hunt down piece by piece. A kiln shelf, a fire brick, a pair of tongs, and a basic set of safety gloves. That bundling alone solves the classic, what do I need to buy first? Problem that trips up a lot of beginners. The kit is marketed as a honest-stop solution for someone who wants to start making pendants, coasters, or small wall art without spending weeks piecing together a setup. Who should actually consider this? If you're a hobbyist who already has a small workspace, say a spare table in a garage or a corner of a craft room, and you're looking to dip your toes into glass fusing at a manageable price point, this kit lines up nicely. It's also a solid entry for teachers who want a safe, contained system for a high school art class. The included safety gear and relatively compact kiln, it fits in a standard 4x4 foot area. Keep things tidy. On the other side of the line, if you're an established studio artist already working with large format kilns, or you're planning on producing large panels for commissions, you'll quickly outgrow the 15-inch interior of this unit. The limited chamber size means you can't fit anything bigger than a small coaster or a pendant in a single run. Now, let's talk about the real-world experience of setting it up. Unboxing the kit feels almost like opening a board game. Everything is clearly labeled, and the manual walks you through the assembly step by step. The kiln itself is a slab-type design, meaning the heating elements sit on the bottom and the glass sits on a flat shelf. This is the standard layout for most fusing work, so you won't be learning a new process. I was surprised at how quickly the kiln reached temperature. The built-in digital controller hit 1500F in about 30 minutes, which is faster than many mid-range kilns that can take an hour to get there. That speed translates into less waiting time between runs, especially useful if you're experimenting with multiple color layers in a single session. One practical strength that shows up once you start actually fusing is the consistency of the heat distribution. Because the kiln uses a single heating element that spans the whole bottom, the temperature curve stays even across the entire shelf. I ran a quick test by placing 3 pieces of clear COE glass at the front, middle, and back of the shelf and ran a standard ramp-up, hold, cool cycle. All 3 pieces softened at the same rate, and there were no obvious hot spots. This kind of reliability matters when you're stacking multiple layers of color. A hot spot could cause bubbling or unwanted warping, and you'd end up with a piece that looks half-finished. However, there are hidden trade-offs you need to be aware of. The kiln's interior is made of a basic ceramic fiber insulation rather than the higher-grade, low-gassing boards you see on pricier models. In practice, this means the kiln can emit a faint, burnt sugar smell the first few times you fire it, especially if you're using a lot of opaque or metallic glass. It's not hazardous, but it does require a well-ventilated space, a window open or an exhaust fan. If you plan to run the kiln in a bedroom or a tightly sealed studio, you'll need to invest in an additional venting solution, which adds to the overall cost. Another consideration is the control interface. The digital controller is straightforward. You set a target temperature, a ramp time, and a hold time. What it doesn't give you is a programmable cool-down curve. For many simple projects, a linear cool-down works fine, but for more advanced techniques like slumping or pike, where you need a controlled slow cool-down to avoid stress, you'll have to manually intervene or purchase an external controller. That extra step can be a bit intimidating for absolute beginners, but it also pushes you to learn the fundamentals of heat work, which some people appreciate. Let's talk about the glass supply. The 90 COE glass included is a solid starter batch. The colors are vivid, and because the COE rating matches the kilns,